Hello and thanks for joining us. Welcome to Max UFO News.
Welcome back to Max UFO News. Mid-August saw the release of 25 years of UFO data for sightings over Canadian airspace. Ufology Research has released the results of its 25-year-long study of Canadian UFO reports. Most ufologists and Forteans know that Ufology Research, formerly Uforum, Ufology Research of Manitoba, has been collecting and reviewing Canadian reports since 1989, publishing the results as the annual Canadian UFO Survey. When the 2013 edition was published in 2014, it marked 25 years of the annual analysis of UFO report data. It seemed reasonable then to group all 25 years of data together and examine the data for trends and changes with time over a quarter of a century. When the final tally was produced, there were almost 15,000 UFO reports received as data since 1989. Coincidentally, this almost exactly matches the total number of UFO reports collected and analyzed by the United States Air Force Project Blue Book during its official run of less than 20 years from 1952 to 1970. In addition to UFO reports being received as data from UFO organizations and investigators, cases were also received and collected from official agencies such as the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Canadian Forces, Transport Canada and other official bodies. This is very unlike the American experience where official agencies have not in general made UFO reports easily available. UFO reports were also received for this study directly from witnesses. Access to the data can be found on the Max UFO News blog or for a direct link, search survey.canadianuforeport.com. The survey also made it onto the CTV News channel, so let's take a look.
Released the results of his 25-year-long study of Canadian UFO reports. The survey groups all 25 years of data together, examines it for trends and changes over a quarter century. Chris Rutkowski is the research coordinator and the author of the Canadian UFO Survey. He joins us now in Winnipeg. Chris, what did you find after looking at sort of the trends of 25 years?
We found an astounding 15,000 UFO sightings have been reported in Canada over the past quarter century, which is quite a significant number to say the least.
These days there's so much light pollution in the skies. How do we know?
Well, there's a lot of sightings that can be explained. This is simply a matter of recording what people have reported, from air traffic controllers to pilots to RCMP to the average person on the street. And a great many are investigated, and we are able to explain a significant number of these cases. And yet there's a small proportion every year, a residual number of about 13–14%, which cannot be explained. And those are the ones which are really curious and have us scratching our heads in some cases.
So when you look at the results, do you start to believe more and more that this could be happening?
Well, there's no question that there's a real UFO phenomenon, and by that I mean people are really seeing things in the sky, because we can explain some, and others we have some good documentation even if we can't explain it. On the other hand, this doesn't offer any proof in one way or another that aliens are visiting Canada, coming here for our vacation spots or anything like that. What it does say is that people are still persisting in seeing some objects in the sky that can't be explained, and it's persisted for quite a long time. This study collects 25 years of data, which is quite a long period of time to understand that people are reporting something and reporting something physical in many cases.
Okay, so when you look at 25 years, what is sort of the common or the one solid thing that you could say, okay, this is sort of common with a lot of things?
Well, the typical sighting has more than one witness. It's not just somebody out by his or herself in a field somewhere. It's somebody who's poking somebody next to him or her saying, "Did you just see what I saw?" Which was something physically there. For trends with regard to months, there are more sightings in the summer. Of course, people are more time out in the summer in Canada than in the winter looking up. And certainly there's trends with regard to population centers, with regard to provinces. Saskatchewan, over the past 25 years, had about 600 UFO reports that were filed. But if you look at other provinces like Ontario and BC with much larger populations, they have many, many more. So there's a factor there of the number of people around to see something. There's trends with regard to colors. More are reported to be white.
Okay, Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
As many of you know, on December 4, 2013, the U.S. Congress House Committee on Science, Space and Technology held a hearing titled, Astrobiology, Search for Biosignatures in Our Solar System and Beyond. It featured testimony from astrobiologists from NASA, MIT, and the Library of Congress. SETI's search for extraterrestrial intelligence, astronomers, told Congress that not only do they believe alien life will be found within their lifetime, but that aliens are almost definitely out there. Shortly after the hearing, Seth Shostak gave a hitherto unknown interview to the Australian morning TV show, Sunrise.
Aliens are real. According to our next guest, they are real. And he says we'll find them within 20 years, asterisk timeframe not guaranteed.
Dr. Seth Shostak is the senior astronomer at the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, aka SETI Institute. Now, earlier this week, Seth made history. He addressed US Congress and said that alien life is out there. From the powerhouse of US politics to Weekend Sunrise, we are thrilled to be joined by Dr. Seth Shostak himself. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Monique.
Now, your appearance at Congress made headlines right around the world, made headlines here. How did the politicians react to your presentation?
Well, it was testimony in front of a committee. In fact, the House Science, Space and Technology Committee. So it wasn't the entire Congress, I have to tell you. There were half a dozen to a dozen Congress people in the room, and they just wanted to hear about our search for not just life in space, but intelligent life in space. So it was for information.
So when you put it to the Congress that we would likely find alien life within 20 years, were you talking about intelligent life or, you know, sort of microbial life?
Well, there's kind of a three-way horse race to find life beyond Earth, in fact. And most of the effort is, you know, it's intended to find microbial life on the assumption, and by the way, it's a reasonable assumption, that microbial life, the kind of life you'd need a microscope to see, is probably much more commonplace than the intelligent variety. But I didn't really specify. I said, I think it's very likely we'll find some sort of biology beyond Earth in the next 2 decades.
And do you think in the next 2 decades we'll be able to see more because technology will advance? We know that you know, satellite technology is advancing all of the time. We get telescopes that are getting bigger and bigger.
Yes, that's exactly the reason. It's the improvement in technology. Look, you're looking for a needle in a haystack. That's kind of what you're doing here. You know how big the haystack is. The other thing you know is how fast you're going through the hay. And that's important. We're going through the hay with, I don't know, maybe a teaspoon now. But because of advances, mostly in telescopes, but also in computer technology, we'll be going through the hay, you know, with a shovel or a skip loader in the next 20 years. And that's really the basis for this optimism.
You know, a lot of people are a little down on space exploration, on astronomy generally. They say, you know, this is a massive resource that we spend out there that we could spend here. Now, apart from the sort of existential questions which we'd all like to answer, are we alone? What do you see as some of the benefits of this kind of inquiry?
Well, I think you have to... There are 2 things, actually, there, Andrew. To begin with, it isn't very expensive. The total amount of taxpayer money being spent on the search for extraterrestrial intelligent life in this country is essentially 0. So that's not a whole lot.
Yep.
And in Australia, it's also 0, by the way, just so you know. So it isn't a lot of money, but it is, I think it's important. It's exploration. I got to ask you, how worthwhile was it to send Captain James Cook into the South Pacific 250 years ago to look around and map the place? Was that valuable? You might not be sitting where you're sitting right now if the British Admiralty hadn't done that. Exploration always pays off. So,
Doctor, what do you think we will find, and what form do you think that intelligent extraterrestrial life will come in? Will it be the little green men?
Well, that would be at least, I don't know, that would be some satisfaction to a lot of Hollywood people, maybe little gray guys. In this country, they seem to be more gray than green. They haven't gone green yet. But honestly, if you look at our own progress, you know, what are humans doing? Well, we're developing very clever machines. And I think that within a century or 2, we will have machines that can actually probably outthink us. Well, I don't know if that's true. Then I think that if we pick up a signal, you should be prepared for the possibility that what's behind the microphone at the other end isn't a little gray guy with big eyeballs and no hair. It's more likely to be some sort of machine.
Yeah, right. Well, I look forward to that moment where we finally look through the large telescope and find that machine or that creature looking back at us through their own telescope. Doctor, I assume if they're as intelligent as we are that they're going to be much on the same path.
Yes, well, I think so. And really, you know, we haven't said it here, but the basis for the optimism is largely rooted in the fact that we now know that roughly 1 in 5 of all the stars you can see in the night sky there, 1 in 5 is likely to have a planet that's rather similar to Earth.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something we didn't know even a year ago. So that's a basis for a lot of optimism.
Doctor, it's fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for your time. And if you find anything out there, let us know, won't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
remember
you.
we spoke to you first down under.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Dr. Seth Shostak from SETI.
Last month we added a new segment to the show so that UFO and CE5 groups can promote their events. This month we're covering The Here, a newly formed UFO group from Manchester. Manchester has been experiencing a UFO flap over the last few months. The group was formed by Mr. Rick Smith and are active in infrared skywatching. Rick has been kind enough to send us the group's mission statement for those interested in joining or participating in the skywatches. Contact details are on screen. Quote, "We don't know who they are or why they're here, but the members of The Here have witnessed multiple UFOs since the beginning of July. I have been left breathless at times. We have seen cigar-shaped objects during the day and what appears to be slow and rapidly moving balls of light at night. At the moment UFOs are being seen worldwide with a lot of video and photographic evidence to boot. They here are specifically interested in UFO activity in the UK. If you have seen something you can't explain, please let us know and send us any photographic or video evidence. They here are aiming to capture what we've been seeing on infrared scopes and cameras. Hopefully we'll have something we can show you, which will be repeatable. Keep your eyes open, they're here." Unquote. Many thanks Rick for sending details of your new group into Max UFO News.
It's a robot, you know, like a super advanced robot. It's probably Japanese.
Earlier this month, Megan Fox, famed for her role in the epic science fiction franchise Transformers, was interviewed at the 2014 MTV Awards. Out of nowhere, the interview suddenly turned into all things paranormal, including extraterrestrial life and UFOs. Megan Fox believes in aliens and can't understand why others don't. "I believe in everything," she told MTV in an interview about her latest movie. She then goes on to explain about an alleged personal paranormal experience that happened to her while staying in a hotel.
There's some parallels between you and April. April believes in some outlandish things that some other people might not.
Okay, let's talk about how outlandish Bigfoot is, because it's not really that outlandish to think that a large bipedal primate exists somewhere on Earth that humans haven't discovered because it's intelligent enough to avoid being found. How crazy is that? Not long ago, I believe in Vietnam, they found something called a billy ape recently, in recent years, that stands at 6 feet tall. That was a new discovery.
How many books about Bigfoot do you own?
I don't own any books, but I watch all the shows. You know,
do you watch Finding Bigfoot?
Yeah, but Les Stroud went hunting for Bigfoot, and I feel like if Survivor Man believes in Bigfoot, why can't you?
What about, do you believe in UFOs?
Yes. Yes. 1,000%.
Why wouldn't that? That's a very strong percentage.
How can you not believe?
Because in the history of man, we've never actually gotten any proof that there is an alien out there.
So?
Doesn't that seem a little unlikely?
If there are more advanced species, why would we be able to find them if they don't want to be found?
It just seems like a convenient excuse is all I'm saying.
But until we find things, they had never previously been found, yet they still exist.
What about ghosts?
Yes. I believe in everything.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
No, but I've heard ghosts.
What have they said to you?
Well, they don't talk to me in my head. I don't hear voices in my head. I was just in Mexico, actually, at my hotel, and it was a bedroom, living room, bedroom, because I was traveling with my kids, and Brian couldn't come, so we had a nanny. I'll make it short. At 7 a.m., I had pre-ordered breakfast for 7:30. At 7 a.m., I hear them come in with the table, 2 people. I hear them pouring the coffee, and I'm like, oh, I'm not getting out of bed for 30 minutes. My coffee's going to be cold. That sucks. And then I got out 30 minutes later at 7:30. I went in there, no table, no coffee, no food, no nothing, no one there. Doorbell rings. I open the door. It's room service with my food. They bring it in. I turn around. All the bedroom lights are on. And I'm like, you know what? I'm delirious. I've been traveling. Drink your coffee. Get ready for work. Brandy, the nanny, comes out later, and she's like, why did room service come at 7 when we told them to come at 7:30? So you can't tell me I'm crazy because 2 people heard it.
It's the room service ghost.
Yeah. I can't explain to you why they were making those sounds.
It seems like a strange choice for a ghost to haunt Megan Fox
in Mexico
City.
So are you saying that someone from the hotel just came in, poured coffee, cleaned it up, and then left just for the fun of pouring coffee in my room and then leaving no trace behind?
I think it's a good story for the room service attendant at Mexico City Hilton.
So you think that's a better explanation than it was haunted?
Yes. We're going to have to agree to disagree.
Okay.
Okay, is that okay?
This particular photo and a few others. They show some strange lights in the sky over Houston. Now, before we get to that particular story, we would like to let you know that you can take part in our interactive poll on this particular topic. Our question of the day: do you believe in extraterrestrial life? Just pull up click2vote.com right now on your smartphone, computer, or tablet. These will be counted in real time for you. We'll have those results in just a couple of minutes, but right now, here's Local 2's Ryan Korsgaard with those mysterious lights over Houston.
If you were on your phone overnight or early this morning, you might have seen some images on Twitter that might have looked something like a UFO. Was it? We're not sure. Some people thought maybe it was one of those big old lights over the highway. We took it to the experts. Take a look at these pictures. In one, a circular thing appears to hover. In another, it appears in front of some impressive clouds. In yet another picture, the circle appears to stand on its side with an impressive light show.
What does that look like? It's a UFO.
Ooh, that really does look like a UFO. A UFO?
You can find a lot of things flying through the halls of the Houston Museum of Natural Science, but a real answer as to just what you see in these Twitter pictures is a mystery.
I think the trick in UFOs is figuring out what else they could be. It's easy to say, oh, that's the aliens.
Dr. Carolyn Sumners is the vice president for astronomy at the museum. She investigates and is writing a show about UFOs.
If it's a real object, and it looks like it is, the more people who see it in different directions, the more likely we are to figure out where it is, what it is, and see if we can actually explain it.
She says these pictures, taken from spots all over our area, could help determine what happened. She said our rough weather Monday night could play a role, but for now, whatever you see here is a UFO, simply unidentified.
Yeah, all the way back to the beginning of recorded history, there are going to be things we can't explain. That's what makes it exciting.
So was it simply a light over the highway or something else? Well, that's for you to decide. Ryan Korsgaard.
We have a new view of those mysterious lights over Houston. This sight sparked a lot of chatter, as you know, especially on Twitter, when pictures started circulating late Monday night. Now, as Ryan Korsgaard reports, people as far away as the United Kingdom have theories about what these lights really are.
Since we first showed you these pictures, a lot of people have had a lot of ideas of what it could be. And keep in mind, the experts say there are a lot of things out there that we may never understand. Take a look at this. Andrew Pena was trying to shoot video of the lightning on Monday night about 8 o'clock as he drove on the Gulf Freeway near Edgebrook. Look at the top of your screen. You can see bright colored lights that appear to go in and out. Pena told me he did not know that he had captured more than just lightning until after he shot this video of the bright lights.
A lot of times those turn out to be weather balloons or something. I don't know.
These still images from Twitter continue to amaze people here at the Museum of Natural Science. One man in the UK emailed Local 2 claiming the photos could have been altered because he said it contains 2 different qualities of images, or could have been a reflection in the lens. He included this illustration. Others think it could have been an unmanned drone with lots of blinking lights.
Looks like a light at a stadium.
That's a new one. I haven't heard that yet. I've heard a big light over a highway, but not a light at a stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a little tall for that, but that's what it looks like.
But no one is quite sure of what to make of this video. Bright lights sure to bring more bright ideas of just what was captured. The experts say you need to keep in mind the definition of a UFO. It means unidentified flying object. Number one, you may believe in that, but number two, it might be a leap to believe that there could be extraterrestrials on board. At the Museum of Natural Science, Ryan Korsgaard.
If you like unsolved mysteries, you may want to check this out. The Paranormal UFO Conference going on this weekend in Lake Lotawana. We caught up with one man who says he's seen plenty of strange things. The close encounter was nothing like this one from the popular 1970s movie, but for Bill Spicer, it was real enough.
You're looking at what I believe are ships or orbs.
He's been shooting video and taking pictures like these for the last 5 years outside his house in Wichita. He says whatever it is, it doesn't act like it's man-made.
I'm wearing a pair of sunglasses, shaded polarized sunglasses.
For one thing, Bill says he can only see it with his sunglasses on. And while it doesn't make train alarms go off, Bill says it is faster than anything he's ever seen.
They move very quickly. You blink your eye, you miss it.
That's what he told this audience at the Paranormal UFO Conference. He's met plenty of people who don't believe him, but he says an astrophysicist at Harvard does.
He has his theories that these are holograms, what he termed quantum holograms.
In other words, possible remnants from black holes. So as long as he doesn't get hit by flying objects, Bill Spicer plans to keep taking pictures of them.
We don't have a complete understanding of our whole world around us.
The conference continues throughout this week.
She can't identify whatever the flying object was, and that has her a little freaked out. WWAY weekend anchor Chris Brown tried to find out what was out there.
Woozy Dell doesn't fancy herself a believer.
I thought, that's a strange light. Maybe it's a helicopter light.
Right.
And I was watching them go, and they sort of did like a half circle. And then I saw another one come, and I thought, this is bizarre, and it got a little interesting.
What it wasn't was something she had ever seen before.
So I saw 2. Then I started seeing 3, and then I started seeing 4, and I started counting them because I thought, my gosh, what is this?
Dell saw the light Saturday night in this beach house out on Ocean Isle.
What I saw was the orangish red, but when it went back around, it was white. The lights were so unusual that, it was something you don't forget. And
she said she started asking around.
Has anyone said they've seen something strange in the sky recently? And she went, oh my gosh, I did.
In fact, we got an email from someone seeing strange lights in the Wrightsville beach sky, too. Problem is, no one knows what it was.
It is certainly an unidentified object. And
it was flying.
It was in the sky and then went away.
But Dell is still curious.
I have to admit, I did go back out the next night looking. And tonight looks like a clear night, so.
Oof. Calls to Brunswick County Dispatch revealed no calls about strange sightings in the night sky that night. If we find out what it was, we will, of course, let you know.
After the fiction book, show or movie, E.T., The X-Files, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, there's been hundreds of TV shows, movies, and documentaries that are dedicated to the age-old question of, Jamie, are we alone in the universe?
Who knows, but now sightings of red orbs in the sky above eastern North Carolina, they're raising that question here. News Channel 12's Ellen Baca investigates.
I saw this red dot.
And they just look like big, round,
like a glow,
red,
almost like a fireball,
lights.
And I jokingly said, oh, it's UFO, it's not blinking.
I'm just glad I had 3 other witnesses.
That's where we'd start to see it, right above that peak of that house in the distance.
UFOs. Unidentified flying objects.
This weekend, 10 were seen off the coast of Emerald Isle.
And that's when they started coming over the horizon one by one.
Kelly Burke, her husband, and one of her daughters took this video Saturday night.
They would all 100% completely disappear in the same exact spot. Same exact spot.
They tried to figure out what it was.
It's gotta be a Chinese lantern.
It wasn't until she posted it to her Facebook that she realized her sighting wasn't alone. Dozens of people had seen these. People like Stephanie Bruner.
Ours was in a formation. It looked like a triangle. Not a complete one. It was just 5.
Bruner was in Jacksonville. Reports have come in from Oak Island and Nags Head. Even a man we met randomly at this gas station saw them in South Carolina.
And being in aviation, I know there has to be blinking lights on an aircraft, and there was none on this.
Ordinary people with extraordinary encounters. Not only have these been reported all over the country, it seems that they've been reported back through time. In this paper from the New York Times from 1944, there's a report of a floating mystery ball thought to be a Nazi air weapon. Now, the ones we're seeing today might not be Nazi, but some do believe they might have military origins. We took the video to retired General Tom Broughton.
That's the red dot she saw?
The circle was too formed to be a flare and too steady to be a lantern. He thought it could be a burner.
If you're looking right at the back end, it would look like a very bright circle.
But some things didn't add up.
Because if it held the same altitude and stayed right there, then you would see that until he turned the burner off.
But she was saying that they're traveling along the coast but staying as a circle.
Yeah, that's unusual.
And were they even circles? Or just objects so far away that they became blurred in the night? For all this speculation, one thing is for sure. This is a UFO. After all, a UFO stands for Unidentified Flying Object. In Carteret County, Ellen Baca, News Channel 12.
Oh, will we ever know the answer to the mystery? We'll have to keep a closer eye on the skies right now.
It's Rudolph practicing in the summer.
That's what the kids want to hear, right?
Sure. Got to get in those practice runs now before it gets too cold.
There you go.
I don't know. That'll do it for News Channel 12 at 5:30. Thank you for watching.
Unidentified lights hovering over a Lower Paxton Township neighborhood.
A woman witnessed and recorded that event. She also called police and her neighbors just to make sure she wasn't seeing things. Mark Hall is live in Dauphin County with more on this story. Mark.
Well, Val and Flora, Stephanie Wilkerson lives in the neighborhood behind me. Like a lot of people, some things you kind of want to keep to yourself, but what she saw last night, she wanted to make sure that other people would believe her.
I'm going to get ready to show you a copy of the UFO that I seen last night.
Stephanie Wilkerson says she was enjoying a glass of wine on her porch Monday evening when she looked up in the sky and saw something.
I thought it was a plane until I realized it wasn't moving. And I watched it for about 20 minutes, and I started noticing it changing colors.
Stephanie didn't know what to think, so she started recording it on her cell phone and called her husband outside to get his opinion. The Wilkersons thought it would be a good idea to call their neighbor.
He was amazed. He went and got his binoculars because he first thought it was a planet. And then he said, no, it changed yellow. He said, that is not a planet.
Several minutes had passed, so Stephanie decided it was time to call Lower Paxton Township's finest. And within minutes, a police officer arrived.
He went there, and apparently he saw them too. So he called his sergeant and his corporal to come to verify what he was seeing.
Another officer came. He said the same thing. He looked through the binoculars, and it started moving.
He's got to see this.
Police called Fort Indian Town Gap and Harrisburg International Airport. Both indicated they had no aircraft activity in the air at that time. It was a brief incident report.
Our officer saw something that was out of the ordinary for the night sky.
All I know is I'm scared.
For Stephanie, an unidentified flying object does not mean a spaceship with aliens inside, but she wonders.
For me to see that, I am now a believer.
In
UFOs.
Well, you can believe or not believe. I spoke with another neighbor a little bit earlier today. She said her husband saw that thing last night in the air, and he thought it was a helicopter. So, I don't know. Maybe if you look up tonight, you might see that thing. I don't know, Flora. We'll have to just kind of wait and see. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Whatever that thing is, could it have been a drone, Mark? We've been hearing so much about drones out in the sky lately.
Well, you know, that's possible. And, you know, first of all, you know, the police did call Fort Indian Town Gap yesterday for one of those military drones to see if that was a possibility. They'd indicated that they had no aircraft or drone activity. We know that a lot of folks actually have those smaller versions of those toy drones, so it's kind of tough to determine if indeed that was the case. I also had an opportunity to speak with another gentleman who lives directly behind me, and he said that they saw that thing on Friday. So this is the second sighting. So a lot of folks who live around here may be looking for it again this evening. We'll have to wait and see.
Whatever that thing is. All right, Mark Hall live
right.
tonight in Dauphin County. Thank you.
That's all for this month. If your group has an event and you would like it covered on Max UFO News, please register and leave your details at the Max UFO News Forum at maxufonews.forumotion.co.uk. Thanks for watching. Until next month, goodbye.
I know a lot of us out there have amazing stories, and we need to share them. You really need to share them at this time, because now is the time. By you sharing your stories, it really stimulates and causes ripples beyond what we can see, and it changes the discussion over time, and ultimately will lead to one thing. It will lead to everyone being on one accord